Hi, Nick here, and today I want to talk about Elixir's HD Lite guitar strings. So HD Lite strings from Elixir, what are they? How are they different from other Elixir strings? So all Elixir guitar strings are coated. They're the original coated string. The idea is that the strings will last longer if they have a coating on them. In this case, it's a Gore-Tex-based coating. So the HD Lite strings have that same coating as the other ones. They're not constructed differently. It's just a different string gauge set, meaning you have a unique combination of string sizes. What they've done is marry together the treble strings from a medium set with the bass strings from a lighter gauge set. So instead of having all light or all medium gauge strings, you've got heavier medium gauge treble, lighter light gauge bass strings. This set was specifically designed for small-bodied Taylor guitars, which are Grand Auditorium, ones that end with a 4 in the model number, such as the 814, and Grand Concert guitars, ones that end in a 2, such as this 912 CE or my 412 CE, which I've featured in a lot of videos. The idea behind HD Lites is that both the string tension and EQ would be more balanced across the set, resulting in a better tone and better playability for the small-bodied Taylor guitars. So with small-bodied guitars in general, people tend to use lighter string gauges on them. And the lighter gauge treble strings, if they're too light, can sound a little thin, and they can also have a little bit of a floppy feel on the action, especially if you're tuning down for open or alternate tunings. If you use medium gauge strings with slightly thicker trebles, your high notes will have more body, volume, and clarity. Plus, the action won't be too loose when you tune down. But medium gauge strings also come with thicker bass strings, and these can sound boomy, overpowering the EQ on a small-bodied guitar. So while the thicker trebles of a medium set are a plus, you don't necessarily want the thicker bass strings to go along with them. That's where the HD Lites come in. On the high end, the thicker gauge treble strings give you more body, better definition, and improved action. On the low end, the lighter gauge bass strings keep the bass clear. It doesn't get too muddy, even when you tune it down to an alternate or open tuning. Overall, what you get is a more balanced response, balanced EQ, and a balanced volume and dynamic from low to high on the guitar. This is especially great when you're playing fingerstyle. A little history behind these strings. They're the brainchild of Andy Powers at Taylor, who thought it would be a good idea to try a new string gauge set for their smaller bodied guitars as he was redesigning the 800 series. And since then, they've redesigned the 600 and 900 series as well. And indeed, the HD Lites work great on the redesigned 600, 800, and 900 series Grand Auditorium and Grand Concert guitars. Basically, you can tell if this is a revoiced Taylor when you look in the sound hole, if you have slanted braces rather than braces that are perpendicular to the strings and the fretboard. The revoiced models have a stronger, more focused bass in particular. So the lighter bass strings on the HD Lite sets keep the bass from becoming overpowering or even muddy. The revoiced models also have a livelier top. The soundboard vibrates a lot easier, has a bit more punch. So what this did was if you had heavier bass strings, it became a little bit too exaggerated. And also because of the livelier top, the treble strings didn't need to be quite as snappy. The thinner bass strings have a good presence without being too boomy, and the thicker treble strings have a good snap without being too thin. Overall, these strings work great on the small-bodied Taylors, both on the more traditional bracing styles and the revoiced models that you find in the 6, 800, and 900 series. A few more notes here. Elixir offers two types of coatings on their acoustic guitar strings. The original polyweb coating, which is a little bit thicker, and the more recent nano web coating, which is thinner. The thicker polyweb coating is what I used before switching to the HD Lite strings. I felt that it had a bit warmer sound, and especially on the wound strings, it seems that there's less string noise from moving your hand across it like that because of the thicker coating. The HD Lite strings, on the other hand, are only offered with nano web coating, which a lot of people like because they feel like the thinner coating dampens the tone less than the thicker polyweb. I found them both to be good sounding strings with different characteristics. The thinner coating also means you have a little bit more string noise, but that's just a part of the guitar and something you're never going to eliminate completely 100% as long as you have wound strings. So Elixir HD Lights are offered in nano web, but there are two different flavors of alloy, both 80-20 bronze and phosphor bronze. So the 80-20 bronze is going to be a little bit lighter and have a little bit more zing to it. It's great if you're doing strumming and rhythm parts. If you want a little bit brighter sound, say you're doing some acoustic guitar parts where the guitar is going to sit in the mix with some other instruments. A lot of people like the extra shimmer from 80-20 bronze in situations like that. Phosphor bronze, on the other hand, is a little bit warmer. It's a little bit rounder. It has a little bit more heft to the notes. 80-20 bronze has a stronger initial attack. Phosphor bronze has a little bit more even sound from the attack through the note decay. I prefer phosphor bronze strings for their great combination of warmth, clarity, sustain, and detail. Phosphor bronze, to me, has a nice sort of high fidelity sound that works particularly well on solo guitar, especially fingerstyle guitar. So overall, the Elixir HD Lite strings are great for the small body Taylor guitars and probably for most small body guitars in general. The HD Lights give you more control over your EQ, the balance between bass and treble, which can be very important in bringing out the flavors of a particular arrangement. The strings also give you more control over the dynamics between soft and louder volumes. The more balanced EQ and string tension are particularly conducive to alternate tunings and fingerstyle guitar. I'll have some links below with various performances so you can hear what they sound like. But really, I think you ought to go out if you have a small body guitar, especially a Taylor, and just buy a set, try them out to see how you like them, because part of the experience is the balanced feel, and you'll find that you have a lot more dynamics to work with. So it's not just about the tone, but it's about string feel and the dynamics that you can pull from your guitar. I hope you've enjoyed this review of Elixir HD Lite guitar strings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.